George Soros is probably one of the most on the face of the earth, or has ever been on the face of the earth. He doesn't like me. And he's been convicted of stock fraud in Paris. He appealed and lost, and tried to get some UN organization to absolve him. And he was convicted in Hungary for doing the same thing. The man's a first-class white-collar. He's been meeting recently with JPM and GS, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan Chase in Athens. And those of you who read my publication, I'm being told by people who were connected in Greece, and I spent a lot of time on radio and television there, and in the newspapers. And the head of the Greek Orthodox Church likes me very much, and he calls me his advisor. And they're trying to get the Greeks to give up everything they've got. They want to take over the railroad, the electric, the gas, the ports, all mineral resources, all the islands. I mean, is there anything left? Anyway, I had to throw that in there. The meeting at the Mount Washington Hotel, where I've been, I climbed up there when I was 11 or 12 years old. I was at a camp nearby for a couple of years. I went up there, and so I know the hotel very well. In fact, the first time I went up there, middle of August, it snowed very heavily. So anyway, I'll never forget that. But the meeting consisted of intellects, professors, and all they did was dance around the subject. There were no heavy hitters there. The only person who approached being a heavy hitter there was Larry Summers. And he's sort of been defrocked, and you probably won't hear much more about him unless you went to Harvard, where he's going to, I guess, spend the remainder of his days. And so it was a propaganda piece to let you know that they're thinking of changing the currency, but it was a non-event. It was a very expensive one, but George Soros took money from you. And so he's got plenty of money to do that. I think there'll be a number of countries, including the United States, Great Britain, Germany in particular, and Europe, and Russia and China. Brazil is becoming a powerhouse. Sweden is one. I think that covers the major players. Iran will be too if they don't destroy it. And I think those countries will jointly administer what's going on in the world, so to speak. I don't think you're going to have one power anymore. Don't forget, they're trying to make a world leveling. They want world government. They want everybody to be essentially equal. And that's part of all that. We really don't have the answer. We really don't know, but that's just a guess. I can see oil going to 120 here. If they send ground troops in, NATO does, into Libya, which I think probably they will, then it could kick up to 148 where it went to before. Gasoline's going to go to $5, $6 a gallon. As far as the cost of food is concerned, as you well know, it depends in part on the weather, how much is planted, and also part of the problem with all commodities, including oil and food, is that people are going to commodities in a flight to safety. And it's the same with gold and silver. And so upward pressure will continue on commodity prices in general. And so what we're talking about here is, at least till the end of the year, you're going to have higher prices in those items. Next year could be equally as bad, because if my projections on inflation are right, more commodities are going to be bought, gold and silver is going to go higher, all currencies are going to go lower. Some of them are stronger right now. Don't be fooled by that. The euro, you know, trading at 146. They get 6 bankrupt nations on their hands. I think they're trying to give them a buffer on the way down. And I think that's going to happen, but I don't know when, but it's not far away. It's another subject we can get into if you want to. But inflation is going to continue. It'll be reflected in commodities and prices at the stores and at the gas pump. And that's going to go on for 2 or 3 years. But the severity in the food area will depend upon the weather as well. If I had to guess what I should do, I would be long all of them, period, like I have been for a long time, and recommended that for a long time. As far as the gold and silver stocks are concerned, the only reason why all of them are trading where they are is that the United States government is working with the major brokerage houses and banks in New York and London, and especially the hedge funds. And they are naked shorting the stocks. They're getting away with it. I've seen a multiplicity of complaints with the Securities Exchange Commission, and they absolutely refuse to do anything about it. They are in complicity. They are aiding and abetting. They've always been part of the problem, but now it's worse. Will it stop? Yes. The higher the price of gold and silver go, the higher the stocks have to go. And so there'll be a time when you'll see the short covering come, and the stocks will move up very quickly. You saw that in a couple of them this past couple of weeks. Just moved from 10 to almost 17. Jumped 6 points in one day, then backed off to a +5. So you're going to see an ongoing increase in the value of those shares, and you're also going to see catch-up. One of the best mining companies in the world for gold and silver, if not the best. The stock should be selling at $180 a share. It's 67. So what do? You buy it. And lots of others just like it. And you know, they're even shorting the mid-tier stocks and the exploration stocks, which I can't believe. Because many of them have small floats. You know, some of them have 15, 20, 25, 30 million shares in the float. And they sell at 50 cents. That's crazy. Suicidal. But they're getting paid by the U.S. government to do that. And they're covered. That's why we need an audit of the Fed. And when the public finds out what they've been doing, they want to break it up. And they will. And we got to help Ron Paul do that. And they're good companies. You know, I recommended, you're not going to believe this, $4. Had a high of 83. And I never recommended selling them. We recommended it 4.5 originally. And it's almost 17. But it's got these stocks got a long, long way to go. And so buy them. You know, have a diversified portfolio. Coins, bars, shares. Whatever's suitable for you.